Here we go, man. We're going to go live. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. We're going to go live. We're live. Yes, we are live. Yes. What's up, everyone? It's me, Mickey. And I'm here to demand more money from Sony.
Oh my god. Not like this.
Oh, boy. Ha ha, Mickey.
Not like this.
Ha ha ha. I want more money, Sony. Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, or BRAP. We got a lot to talk about, Forte.
Yeah, man, we do. A lot of stuff happened over the last 3-4 days.
I know, man. I would have never guessed, man, that we would have had all this big news in like the matter of like, see, Gamescom kicked off on Monday, and then here we are. 72 hours later.
Yeah.
There's some big
Yeah, man.
big news as relates to Spider-Man movie franchise. I'll tell you, man, it's wild, man. So my assumption is probably everyone kind of knows what's happening with Spider-Man, the negotiations, if you will, between Sony and Disney. Basically, what's happened is Disney. Look, I mean, Disney. I get that Disney. Kevin Feige was really involved in, uh, the first Spider-Man films that were tied into the MCU. And they had Sony and Disney had an agreement that was obviously, I think we probably agree on this, Forte, probably more favorable for Sony. 90, I think it was a 95-5 split or something like that, in terms of money that Disney was getting. They get 5% off of whatever the incoming revenue was for the movies. And I believe you said in your earlier today that Disney would actually get 100% of merchandising, though, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Forte, you there? Forte, I don't know if you can hear me. Did we lose you? All right. I don't know if he's there or not. Forte, you there? B Money. Guys, are we having issues here?
I am back.
Oh, what? I was like talking and like, what happened?
My computer just crashed. Ain't that something?
Yeah, something's going on my computer too, man. I don't know what's going on. What's
Are
up,
you
B
still
Money?
streaming?
Yeah, we're still streaming. I'm like, hello, hello. I was like talking.
Yeah, my computer just like, nope, 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 nope. You don't get to talk anymore.
Yeah, I don't know
Up,
what's going
folks?
on with. I'm getting some issues now. Some like issues with buffering. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. This has been really weird lately with OBS.
It's the ghost in the machine.
What'd you say?
I said it's the ghost in the machine.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you're. Hold on just a sec here. me see something real quick. Yeah, B Money, are you there, man? Can you hear us? All right, we are having some difficulties. I don't know what the hell's going on. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, I can't hear B at all.
I can't. I just heard you. I don't know if you were talking before.
No, I wasn't talking. I'm talking now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what's going. See, I don't know, dude. Something's going on with YouTube, man. Um,
It might.
hmm.
It might be YouTube.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sure do.
Let's see something here. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. B, can you hear me? Okay.
You kind of going in and out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's now it says we
Yeah,
have.
I was gonna say you're going in and out too. Am I going in and out too, B, or is it just him?
Sounds like it's just him.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I.
Now it sounds like it's okay. It says I have excellent connection now. It's YouTube, man. I'm telling you guys, like YouTube's been messing up. All right, guys. Can you guys still hear me? B Money and Forte.
Yeah, I still hear you going in and out, but yeah, I hear you.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what is going on. I wonder if Comcast is throttling me right now. Let's do a speed test. All right, Forte. Can you hear me now?
I can.
B Money, can you hear me? Mic check. 1, 2.
One,
I can
two, one.
hear you.
All right, guys. So let's try to get the show here going. I'm not happy with YouTube right now. Sorry guys. So basically, we know about the Spider-Man, Marvel or Spider-Man Disney situation. Disney wants a 50% co-financing stake in the franchise, and 50/50 co-financing, which means increased revenues for Disney. And Sony just said no, we're not doing that. And negotiations, while there are rumored to still be happening potentially behind the scenes, um, as of right now, Sony is not. Spider-Man is not part of the MCU. It's not. That's a thing right now. Kevin Feige is not going to be um, directing or not directing. He's not going to be involved in the the next Spider-Man movie, and he's saying it's because of the issue of money and them not coming to a deal. Where Sony is saying no, Kevin Feige actually he had no intentions or wasn't going to be part of the next Spider-Man because of his focus on the Disney Plus streaming service and the newly acquired Fox Studios. They acquired Fox, and with the X-Men franchise. So yeah, it's upset a lot of people. There's a petition out there against Sony. Although I don't blame Sony for all of this. I think this is both parties. I mean, it takes two to negotiate a deal. I think Disney brought a very aggressive offer to the table, and Sony said no. And so, I can see both sides here, but the optics of this is on Sony. There's petitions out there saying that people are gonna stop watching Sony movies. They're gonna not buy PlayStation 4. Um, Yeah, people are upset. I personally don't think it's a big deal. I honestly, here's the thing. I put a tweet out there of the but I said this to Ashley Luca on Twitter today. I said, if at the end of the day, if Sony if Spider-Man is not part of the MCU, and say they bring Tom Holland back to play Spider-Man, which I think they should. I think that's would be the smart thing to do. Um,
Yep.
I think that the with Sony, I think it would be in their best interest. But it's interesting. I think look, we're all comic book fans. I think Spider-Man is Marvel's most popular superhero, right?
Yes,
And
he is.
I don't see people saying, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to go see a Spider Man movie because Sony didn't make a deal with Disney. No, people are going to be like, hey, you know what? I want to go see Spider Man. You may have some people that are a little bit, you know, uh, maybe hard headed, if you will. They're going to stick to their guns and say, oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to show Sony. I'm not going to go see Spider Man. Um, I personally, I would see Spider Man. Even if Spider Man wasn't tied into the MCU, I would still see him. I mean, can you imagine if in a hypothetical world they made Spider-Man and Deadpool together? Who wouldn't go see that?
Mhm.
You know,
Exactly.
Sony also owns Spider-Man and all 900 plus characters related to the Spider-Man universe. So they have a plethora of people
They
they
have
could.
a they have a huge stake into.
Yes, exactly, Forte. Um, and so basically the only thing that this would mean for Spider-Man is that there's no reference of MCU, there's no reference of Thor, there's no reference to Iron Man. I've seen people say, oh, Sony, before Kevin Feige and Disney got involved, Sony was garbage, or Sony was garbage. Spider-Man was
Really?
garbage. Spider-Man was garbage. I don't agree with that. I thought the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies were okay. I didn't think they were terrible, although I didn't really care for Jamie Foxx's character as a villain. Um, but I didn't think they were terrible. But if you look at like the highest grossing like Spider-Man movies,
I'm
um,
looking at it right now.
are you looking at it right now, Forte?
Yep. So, the first Spider-Man worldwide box office gross was $821,706. Spider-Man 2 was $795,110,000. Spider-Man 3 is the highest outside of the MCU ones, which is $894,860,000. Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield's first one, 757,890,000. And Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was 708,996,000. And then Spider-Man Far From Home was at 880 million. And Far From Home continues the trend of Disney putting out billion-dollar franchises at 1.1 billion. So my thoughts on this is, yes, Spider-Man did see a significant bump from the MCU being a part, but it was already doing well without the MCU. I mean, Spider-Man was still gross over $700 million worldwide on production budgets that didn't even the highest production budget of any Spider-Man was Spider-Man 3, which was 258 million. Just think about it, 258 million, and they brung home over $500 to $600 million in profit. And the problem, the reason I think Sony walked away from this, and I think I probably would have walked away from it. Even the last two Spider-Man movies were under $200 million. Far From Home was only 1.6 million, 160 million, and Spider-Man Homecoming was 175 million. That doesn't account for marketing. That's just the production budget. And both those movies did over 800 million. But even before that, they was making $500 to $600 million in profit off those movies. So let's say they accept that deal that so through it, where they say we want to split 50% production and financing costs. That means Marvel is going to pay anywhere from 100 million to like 125 million of the profit of the budget of what the average of these movies been going. But then they also got to turn around and they're going to make 50% off of the box office sales that they made off those movies. Sony's looking at it like we were making $500 to $600 million per title without you. So now you're telling us you want to flip half the bill and cut it to our profits by 50. Now, some people think that's pretty greedy. I think Marvel owns all of the merchandising rights for Spider-Man. They make anything that Marvel makes for Spider-Man, they get 100% of the marketing for that. Sony sees none of that. So the fact that they went in with such an aggressive push is kind of crazy, but Sony, I still think is kind of in the wrong because they should have stayed at the table a little bit longer to give some type of counter offer to this, because it's being rumored, or it's actually not even being rumored. They actually said that Sony pretty much said no to this and just walked away from the table. They didn't even give a counter offer to this, and I kind of feel them. 50% is a lot to give up when you're only, when you're flipping the bill and you're making so much. And they're actually going to lose money by giving Marvel that big of a piece of it. Maybe if they go back and talk about maybe a 30-70 split or something like that. I don't know how it actually can break out, but Marvel doesn't have no leg to stand on when it comes to this IP, because as long as Sony lives by the contract and they make a movie every 3 years, they will always have control of Spider-Man, and there's nothing nobody else can do without it.
It's a interesting point you made, Forte, about cutting into like Sony's kind of stance potentially of, hey, we were making X amount of dollars before you came in. Now you want to take more money away from us, and that was kind of my point to people today. Was, hey, would you want to give more money away if you didn't need to? Like, nobody would. Nobody in the right mind would.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. B, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Hey man, when I look at the situation, I just think this is the power of ownership, and the power of owning IP. You away from deals like this, because why would I let you cut into my profit margin? I mean, I've shown I can still, bring home $300 or $400 million in profit production, and why would I give that up to you just to include MCU? Which in Phase 4, where does Spider-Man fit in any of those movies?
I mean,
does it make sense?
Has Spider-Man officially been announced in Phase 4?
Right. I mean, I'm sure that he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't at all. But I mean, I'm sure that was contingent on this deal.
Exactly. I'm thinking the same thing.
Right. So, like, even if you just look at the stuff that was announced for Phase 4, where does Tom Holland Spider-Man fit into any of those movies? Strange?
Maybe Doctor Strange? Maybe, probably not though.
Because of the multiverse stuff. But I mean, he's not going to make that many appearances, and so can have power of ownership. Their movie, back into their own hands. They've shown that with Venom and with Spider-Man they can still movies that people want to go see. And if they ever wanted to, cross over Venom and Spider-Man, or dive into even further, they have that ability because they own the characters in that universe. So there's a lot of potential there, and especially with Tom Holland being so young, you can really, dive deep into Spider-Man and go into some of the stuff that hasn't been explored on the big screen. So if you can walk away from the deal, that's great, because you own the IP. Fold just because it's Disney. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they monopolizing everything. They buying up everything. Like, Disney has their hand on it. You know what I mean? And Sony's just like, no.
You know what's
terms, I can walk away.
Yeah, the
yeah. You know what's interesting,
yeah,
B? You said like Sony Disney's buying everything. This is the first time Disney has not got what it wanted.
And they don't like to hear. They don't like to hear no.
No.
no,
And they
that
leaked this. Disney leaked this, by the way, to kind of put a black eye on Sony, to put pressure
To
on
flip it
Sony.
on Sony.
Yeah.
Know that people would go after Sony and say, "Oh, make the deal, make the deal." You know, I mean, Spider-Man's been so great in the MCU. He's been solid, but I mean, they also made him like the Iron Man love child, and he's just following around Iron Man all damn
yeah,
time.
that's true.
So
That's the one thing I will say about it is when if you really think about it, he Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man, but he has no identity. His he's like everybody just knows what he is because of the Iron Man tie together, and even in the last movie they kind of just even went deeper into that with him getting the glasses and everything. So he's like the pseudo next Iron Man, or just a caretaker of everything Tony Stark has. But me personally, I saw this coming from a mile away, especially when Venom did as well as it did at the box office. Like, some people hated that movie, but guess what? When you could throw a movie out and don't even have Spider-Man in it, and you can still gross over $800 million on an even lower budget, oh, this was already a done deal. Sony was looking for a reason not to have to renew this contract with them, and Marvel pretty much gave it to them by coming at the table with that high number. And then they just run a Grammy for or Emmy for Spider Verse. Come on, man. They are on cloud nine right now. They got all of these different movies in the work for the Spider-Man franchises, and they do not need Marvel to do anything. It sucks because I think more people are upset because if you didn't see Far From Home, I'm not going to say what happens, but the very end of Far From Home, it gives you a glimpse of what a Marvel Universe version of Spider-Man can be. And I was super excited to see where they would take it. And if these talks do not get any better, man, kiss that ending goodbye. Because it was probably one of the best endings I could see in the movie, because I didn't expect them to go there with that. But Spider-Man man, Sony holds all the cards on this one. There's nothing anybody can do about it. There's nothing they can say, because Marvel is reaping what they sow for 15, 20 years now, when they gave that IP up the first time, and Sony's not going to let it go.
I mean, and I don't blame Sony. Who would? I mean, like you mentioned, Venom. And Magui says that Disney wanted part of Venom too.
No,
Uh,
they want. That's another thing. They even said it in that article. They said they wanted the Spider-Man. They said they would do 50% financing on the Spider-Man upcoming Spider-Man movies and other franchises. They didn't name Venom in particular, but when they said other franchises, that means pretty much everything they have in pre-production. Marvel's like, we'll split the bill with you. But like I said, if you're only spending $200 million and you're making six off of it, well, all you're doing is giving me $100 million towards the financing of a movie, but you're literally cutting into my profits by an extra 300 million. Nah, man, we got to come with a better number than that, because I can make that on my own just on the back end.
yeah, I mean, what you're saying makes sense, but that's the thing. You are thinking this thing out, Forte, and the reaction that I'm seeing from people, they're not really thinking this thing out. They're like, "Oh, evil Sony," you know, Sony's ruining Spider-Man. I don't
Well,
buy that.
People didn't go read to see exactly what happened. Because I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth. My wife told me about this. I forgot what I was doing. She said, "Can you believe that Spider-Man's not in the MCU no more?" I said, "BS," and she was like, "Yeah, Sony supposedly walked away from the table," and I was like, "That's stupid." And I was like mad as hell at Sony at the moment. But then before I do anything, I went and looked some stuff up, and I was like, oh, 50-50 split? Nah, man, I wouldn't do that either.
Hey, let me. Isn't anyone concerned about big bad Disney here? I mean, they are buying up a lot of stuff. I mean, even the merger, the acquisition of Fox was under a little bit of scrutiny from the what is it, the FCC, and um, they're kind of monopolizing things in a way. I mean, look, if you look at what they just acquired Fox, that makes sense, but They have their streaming service now. They have Star Wars on lockdown. We know about Disney's beloved, you know, uh,
Their vault full
movie.
of
What's that?
goodness. Their vault full of goodness that they have that they lock away every 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. They have all these movies. They get us when we're young, and they're going to get us while we're older. Um, and they're gonna have their streaming service, which I mean, by look, they're coming out in that streaming service aggressive. I mean, I think what is it like $6 a month just for the service itself, or if you could pay like 12 or 13 a month for Disney, Hulu, and ESPN. Is that the deal?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I hear, and that will be the moment that I'm going to delete my Comcast from my house because
What were you gonna say, B?
So yeah, I mean that's a excellent deal, and I mean, like you said, they are buying up everything and a lot of stuff, which I'm surprised the FCC has allowed them to do as much of stuff as they have done. And like you said, they kind of got us here, and so many people have hold Disney in such high regard that stuff that if this was another company, we would be raising red flags about. We just kind of and just say that it's Disney and
well,
everything's all good.
and the thing that Disney, the reason I think that they didn't say anything really about monopolization of the stuff they're doing is because there are other bigger entities out there in each of those sectors that not Marvel, but that Disney is trying to get into. I mean, now if they were trying to buy Netflix or something, that would be huge. But the fact that they're starting their own service, they already own Star Wars, which is probably the biggest one of all of them. And then you tie the success of Marvel into that, that's going to add into it. And then X-Men has kind of been on the decline for a while now, so they don't really look at that as like this huge thing. But for people that love like comic books and love the MCU and stuff like that, they just want to see that be a part of the whole era together. And then when you add Fox to that, like, I mean, I'm a huge Alien fan, and as soon as I saw this happening, I ultimately was like, oh my God, my movie's not, is this movie even going to be good anymore? Because I just don't know what a Disney run Predator or a Disney run Alien game movie would look like unless they monitor it under the Fox moniker, which they might do for a lot of those rated R movies and stuff. But ultimately, I think the IPs they picked up on are not as big as we think they are, but when you add them together, they become this huge monolithic thing. And then when you throw them in a streaming service, it's even bigger. So I think that's where it's like skating through those lines just because of stuff like that.
Yeah. And let me ask you guys something. So, there's a lot of anger out there. People are saying they're not going to buy PlayStation 4s. It's funny, like Cognito and I, big shout out to Lord Cognito, the Iron Lords. We've been talking about this on DM today, and he's like, these are things that, could potentially, it's about optics. And I understand that argument. It's about optics and people's perception of Sony now, Sony being arrogant and not giving into, um, not giving into Disney's demands. Maybe that affects PlayStation or the Sony brand. I'm one. I don't think this has any bearing on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. I don't think that's going to hurt Sony in that regard. And to be frank, I think you said this, Forte. Look, I'm probably in the minority here. I don't think. I think in the long run, I think the Spider-Man franchise, if it's not involved in the MCU, not tied in, is still going to be okay. I mean, if you look at the revenue numbers, sure, did they receive a bump from MCU? Yes. But I got to be honest with you guys, like, Homecoming was not a good Spider-Man movie to me. It just really wasn't. Um, Far From Home, much better. But, if you look at some of those revenue numbers, like you shared earlier, Forte, Far From Home is the only MCU tied in Spider-Man that has done better than all of the Sony ones that came before. I think Spider-Man 3 is like number 2 or something, and then um, Homecoming is like number 3 or something like that in that list.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's Far From Home 1, then 2 is Homecoming, and 3 is Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man, then it goes to Spider-Man 3. Oh, actually Spider-Man 3 is number 2.
yeah,
And then Homecoming's number 3, and then the first Spider-Man is number 4.
yeah. Evan Vastora says Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man film. I've always I think that I actually think that Spider-Verse was actually the best, at least out of all the Spider-Man films that I've seen, the most entertaining, the one I enjoy the most.
Oh,
I
I agree.
Yeah, I loved that movie. It just it was awesome. Like and my kids love it. Um, but I think the Spider-Man franchise will be okay. Like people have short memories. I mean, if you look at like Spider-Man 2 wasn't like if you look at like Rotten Tomatoes, it got like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? I
Yeah.
mean, not bad, right? I mean, so I don't think it's a doom situation for Spider-Man if it's not part of the MCU. That's my opinion. And I'm probably in the minority here, but I think I think Spider-Man's such a big, it's Marvel's most popular character. I think the MCU probably needs, and I know people are going to be like, you're crazy for saying this, but I think MCU probably needs Spider-Man more than Spider-Man needs MCU.
I I wouldn't disagree with you because I
Especially
think
now since all the
yep,
other characters died off.
exactly, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Spoiler!
Now that
B's like, yeah, they all died.
Man,
Spoiler! No, go ahead, B.
enough people saw that damn movie already. Ain't no spoiler.
Right? Oh,
All
all
that money
that.
that they done made, if they ain't seen it, oh well.
You're right. All that money they made, a lot of people saw. So it's probably not a spoiler alert. Oh my
Man,
goodness, that too
Marvel
funny.
needs Spider Man more than now. And if you just look
yeah.
at the stuff that or there wasn't too many people like super excited. There was no X-Men stuff in there, so it's gonna be a while before those movies start to roll out. They
Yeah.
need Spider Man. Spider Man is the most popular Marvel character, so you know what I mean. Are people really gonna be excited to go see the next Doctor Strange? Maybe.
I mean, I'll be excited to go see next Doctor Strange, but I mean, I don't know. Doctor Strange doesn't have the mass appeal of Spider-Man, though.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys something. What do you think this does with the game then? Does the next Spider-Man game?
It won't have Marvel in front of it.
The I mean that's a totally different sector.
Yeah.
That Spider Man game won't be affected at all.
Yeah. It won't be.
Because I see people saying that now. You've probably seen this, guys, on the internet, where
I
it's
have.
oh, Sony's not going to have the exclusive rights. It's going to go multi-plat. Um,
That's not how it works, people. It's not how
Nope.
business works.
yeah, I don't
It
know,
all.
and again, I don't know all the details of the deal with the video game, but I guess Marvel has the rights to the video game, right?
So what happened? Well, yeah, because they got it from Activision because Activision had the rights for a while. Marvel it's basically just like how Star Wars commissioned, not Star Wars, Disney commissioned EA to do all the Star Wars games. They don't own it. They just commissioned them to make the Star Wars games for a certain amount of time. And Sony was commissioned to make the next Spider-Man movie because of that was part of I guess that was part of the deal for them allowing Spider-Man to be inside of the MCU. That was like part of the deal. Like, hey, we'll scratch your back, you scratch ours, give us exclusive rights to be able to publish the next Spider-Man on our system, and we'll allow Spider-Man to show inside the MCU. Because that's how Sony was still able to just to publish and finance those Spider-Man movies on their own. Because even though they were Marvel tie-ins, Marvel didn't have any financial backing into those movies at all. All they did was get 5% of the revenue off the movies when they sold it. Plus, they got all the marketing, all the merchandising rights and stuff. But the game itself, I don't know how long they signed any type of deal for that with them. I mean, it could have just been a 1 game deal. I would think it probably wasn't, just because they did just buy that studio, if you didn't know. And I don't think they would have bought that studio knowing that they couldn't make another Spider-Man right away. So I think it's probably like a 2 game or 3 game deal for them to do it, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I don't think the next Spider-Man game is going to be affected by this at all, because whatever they inked it, whenever they inked that deal, they inked it for more than just 1 game. I guarantee it wasn't just that one.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. And I'm not going to speculate because I don't know. My assumption is that there were, like you said, there's probably something where there was, like you said, like a deal in place for other games. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what's going to happen. I don't. I would say this.
Sony
I
was
would be
smart
really
though.
surprised if it went multi-plat.
Look,
Sony's
was smart.
anti-consumer.
Well, Sony Sony was super smart in this regard, because they signed on for a 5-movie deal with Marvel, which was the 2 Avenger movies. You got the Far From Home and Homecoming and Civil War. The 5 movies right there. They signed Todd Hollands to a 6-movie deal. They was like, okay, we'll give you the 5, but guess what? If this deal falls through, we still got Todd Hollands for another movie. Meaning, even if they wanted to pull him away from from Spider-Man and put him like somewhere else, they can't do it because he's still under rights through Spider-Man for at least 1 more movie. And they'll probably re-sign him if they haven't done it already.
So, Eric, you think Sony or what did you say, man?
They're anti-consumer. We know this.
Are you?
They don't care.
Eric, have you signed the petition? Are you boycotting Sony and PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5?
They'll get my PS5 money.
Dumb stuff. I mean, that is literally the dumbest thing I've.
Oh yeah, but it's out there though.
Join us,
What?
fellas.
He's
quite a few
standing for Game of the Year. Oh my god.
Oh, here we go with Death Stranding. It's called
Yeah, I
Peace
can't
Standing.
stay long, but I missed you guys. I had to jump in real quick, just say what's up.
Yeah, man, we got
What's up, man? What's up,
man?
E?
No, it's good seeing you,
Yeah,
man.
we
man.
talked about it. Tell us what you guys think about this. Right, wrong? Where do you stand?
On what, the petition or
No,
where?
the Spider-Man in general.
Oh. I don't know, man. I see like it's kind of both ways. I kind of see it's like mom and dad are fighting. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, have like skin in the game. When it comes to this character. I mean, but it kind of seems like at the end of the day, both of them are like, throwing dick around about or playing chicken with each other, like who's going to turn first. But the fact of the matter is, they both made a lot of money together. So to see either one wrong, because Sony holds the movie rights and what Disney holds the licensing and merchandising rights pretty much, but they also hold the fact that they helped Sony make and craft like a better Spider-Man than they were able to do with Andrew Garfield. So it's sort of like, get back in the damn room and make it happen, because you both kind of need each other at the moment, unless Disney's looking at it like, hey, we did our thing with Spider happened before we had, the Fox properties back. And, so maybe they kind of feeling like we can move forward with that.
I think it was always their intention to try to renegotiate at this point. Always what they took the deal initially, and look at it like, I mean, yeah, you're getting the merchandise money, but the work, like, I mean, they were like,
Right.
want just to get in the door. You talk Then
So-
Sony big left as go
Yeah, because when you think like, yo, we want half. Half. So Bernie Mac and Bass Santa.
cutting out. Is it out on all?
Yeah, anymore.
Not on.
I hear it.
You know, Google actually has an reason was doubts meat that they were trying to get off the ground. That's a Google Hangouts Live does, but better. And gives you it for 2 weeks
What
for,
is
and forward after that. That's live and
Right.
I'll leave with this, man.
Way.
well?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. Yeah, the stream keeps buffering really bad.
We would.
No, yes. I mean, I don't.
You know.
Said it. Look, I know Lord still. Talk with her. Come on, man. Enrique.
Yeah, I can barely hear you guys.
Didn't it?
Oh, you guys can. So you guys can hear me, but you guys can't hear the live chat. Slow mo is gone. Jesus, this is terrible. Yeah, guys, I don't know what's going on with OBS Streamlabs and YouTube today. It's messing up. So Ryan Landis says, Enrique, we can hear you fine. So you guys can only hear me.
Oh, they only hear.
So everyone else is breaking up. No, you know what, Glorious? I'm sorry, I didn't.
What did he do? Because like
I didn't read your super chat.
Something.
Hey, Glorious, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you, bro. Appreciate this. Disney also wanted part of Venom and Spider-Verse with 50-50 co-finance deal. Anyone with business sense wouldn't go with this deal.
Like Enrique's talking.
No, me either.
Yeah, all right, Glorious. Thank you, man, for the super chat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, guys. Like, I can't hear. Like, slow-mo's going in and out.
Hey, you know I love soup for lunch.
Hey, Forte, can you hear me?
Robot suit.
robot.
What?
In another lane,
Wow, I don't think. Yeah. So you guys can only everyone in the live
What,
chat.
launch?
You guys can only hear me.
Start today.
me.
Abba says now it's working. Hear us now?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I can barely hear you guys.
Cross it. Oh.
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe restart.
We might have to go. Hey guys, we might have to go to Hangouts, and I might just have to do.
Maybe. No.
Yeah.
So
Distracted says only. Yeah, I don't know if I want to.
something.
Yeah, you know what, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream because I don't know what the hell's going on.
God.
Ryan Landis says, Enrique, you're clear.
They can
Everyone else
only
is
Enrique,
body,
but they can't hear the rest of us.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Look,
going on,
man,
guys.
He's standing.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead, guys. I'm really sorry. We're gonna end the stream because I don't know what's going on. It's all jacked up.
Anything.
But all right, guys, and if we go on later on tonight, I'll let you guys know. But
Never mind.
for now, we're just gonna go ahead and end the stream. So sorry about that, guys. Glorious Warrior, appreciate the super chat, my friend. Thank you again.
Bye.
And
Everyone cutting out.
we'll see you guys soon.
So she come back.
We'll leave and come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do.